Okay, I welcome back to another daily lore Reddit react, not reaction, react. This is a bonus episode for Saturday, or should I release on Sunday? I hadn't thought about it. No, I release it today, Saturday. It is. I'm gonna release this under my normal time, 3 p.m. EST. Right now it's like almost 7 o'clock in the morning. So obviously I'm gonna finish React to this, upload it on the same day. Okay, next we're this is called a bonus episode. I'm probably gonna do these not all the time, just occasionally for reasons because I want to do this. That's mainly the reason. I just want to watch bonus. I just want to react to it.
My estranged sister contacted me after 15 years to ask for my kidney. I agreed without hesitation, but while waiting for the transplant, I overheard her telling her.
Why? I don't. Yeah, hold up. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm not gonna look at it. Why? Why would you agree? I don't understand. You want to be there for an long lost sister or something, but you don't know them. I mean, even if they're quote unquote family, you don't know them. Why would you agree to something that is could I don't know if I think it could be like you could die from the procedure. There's a possibility of dying from the procedure, even if the procedure is good, even if the procedure is a procedure normally, obviously. But there's always a percent chance of dying in those procedures, even if it's a low percent chance. There's always a percent chance of something going wrong. I mean, nobody even knows fully. So, I mean, and obviously you don't know this person. Why would you? Why would you trust them? I don't understand. Even if they seem nice, why would you? It doesn't matter. You don't know the person.
Friend, she only reached out because she exhausted all other options and I was her genetic last resort. Yesterday I got my test results. I'm not even a match. She doesn't know I know about the second test I took. Growing up, Maya and I were inseparable. Being just 14 months apart meant we shared everything: clothes, friends, secrets, and dreams. Our parents called us the twins despite our obvious differences. Maya was the extrovert, always center stage, while I preferred quiet corners and books. She was all sharp edges and bold colors, I was soft curves and muted tones. Despite our differences, or perhaps because of them, we complemented each other perfectly. Everything changed when we were 16 and 17. Maya started dating Caleb, a 19-year-old who worked construction. Our parents
Okay,
disapproved.
my first. Okay. My first thought was completely wrong. They did know each other. Okay. I mean, I don't really know what I know what estranged means, but obviously it can mean any period of time you could be estranged with the person. So obviously they never specify. So
Immediately, he was too old, too rough around the edges, they said. Maya, true to her rebellious nature, doubled down on the relationship. I tried playing peacemaker, but both sides pushed me to choose. When Maya ran away with Caleb 3 weeks before her 17th birthday, our parents blamed me for not warning them, convinced I must have known her plans. I hadn't. In fact, the last real conversation Maya and I had was an argument about Caleb. I told her she was being reckless, that she was throwing away her future. She'd called me jealous and boring. Those were the last words we spoke for 15 years. The silence between us grew familiar,
jealous
almost.
and boring. Right. You know what I get from this? From hearing just this beginning part, because I won't say always, but usually the case where one twin is jealous of the other twin. I'm assuming she was jealous of her twin. That's probably what it is.
Comfortable. I finished high school, went to college for accounting, married David at 25, bought a house with a white picket fence. Maya's life, from what little I heard through mutual acquaintances and occasional social media glimpses, seemed to zigzag through various states and failed relationships. Caleb had
course.
lasted 8 months. After that came Dylan, then Marcus, then a series of names I couldn't keep track of. Our parents passed away within 2 years of each other, dad from a sudden heart attack, mom from cancer. The funeral arrangements were tense. Maya showed up looking tired and thin, wearing clothes that hung oddly on her frame. We exchanged polite condolences, but nothing substantial. Whatever bridge we built as children had been thoroughly burned. Life continued. David and I tried for children but couldn't conceive. We discussed adoption but never followed through. I threw myself into my career, becoming partner at my firm by 38. Maya inherited half of our childhood home but sold her portion without consulting me. I bought her out, renovating the place into a rental property. It was a clean business transaction, the only communication we'd had in over a decade. Then came the phone call. It was a Tuesday morning. I was reviewing client files when my phone rang with an unknown number. Hi, Sophie.
Okay, now I understand. Now I understand why she kind of somewhat agreed, I guess, to doing this. Because it was her twin, and she, I guess, wanted to. She remembered them at one point in time, probably connecting. That's just my assumption. I don't know.
It's Maya, the voice said before I could speak. Her voice was raspier than I remembered, like she'd been shouting or smoking for years. I'm sorry to call out of the blue, but I need to talk to you about something important. My first thought was that she needed money. Perhaps she was in trouble, needed bail, had fallen into debt. I'm listening, I said carefully. I have kidney disease, she said bluntly. End-stage renal failure. I've been on dialysis for 8 months. I need a transplant. She paused, letting the information sink in. I was wondering if you'd consider getting tested to see if you're a match. The silence stretched between us. 15 years of absence, of choosing different paths, of maintaining the distance our teenage argument had created. Now she was asking for one of my organs. Of course, I heard myself say. I'll get tested. The relief in her voice was palpable. We discussed logistics, her doctor's office, the testing process, how she'd been managing dialysis.
Why is my question. Why did you say that? I don't get it. Why did you say of course? Maybe you respond without thinking about it.
She mentioned living in a small apartment across town, working part-time at a grocery store when her health allowed. We didn't talk about the 15-year gap. It felt like acknowledging it would make the whole conversation harder. The testing process took 3 weeks. Blood work, physical examinations, psychological evaluations. During that time, Maya called me twice. Both conversations were brief, clinical updates about her condition. I learned she was on the transplant waiting list, but her blood type made finding a match difficult. She'd already been tested with several relatives from Caleb's family, apparently they'd reconnected recently, but none were compatible. The second call was more revealing. Her doctors had given her 6 months to a year without a transplant. Dialysis was becoming less effective. She'd lost 30 pounds in the past year. I should have called you sooner, she admitted. Pride is a stupid thing. I didn't disagree, but I also didn't push for more explanation. We were both adults. We'd made our choices. While waiting for my test results, I decided to visit her. I brought soup, a cliché gesture, but I wasn't sure what else to offer. Her apartment complex was run down, paint peeling from the building's exterior. She answered the door after the third knock, moving slowly, her face puffy from medication. You didn't have to come, she said, but her expression softened when she saw the soup container. Inside, her apartment was sparsely furnished but clean. A dialysis machine dominated one corner of the living room. Medical supplies were neatly organized on a nearby table. We sat on her worn couch, not quite facing each other, and ate soup while making
Honestly,
small
this
talk about
sucks.
nothing
It really
important.
does. I mean, it is sad. Obviously, I mean the whole story is probably gonna be sad, but it's also gonna be very terrible as well. Because obviously, from the beginning, we know why she reached out, of course, which is the worst thing in the world. The only reason you reached out to your twin is because she was the last hope you had. That's it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, you would have never talked to her again. For some reason that nobody knows except you. I'm assuming you're jealous. I'm still assuming that. That's it.
Her phone rang while I was washing dishes. She stepped into the bedroom to answer it, but I could hear snippets through the thin wall.
It's
Yes,
like,
she agreed to get tested. No, she doesn't know anything about. I know, I just needed to make sure. Right, genetic last resort. No, I didn't tell her about the diabetes thing either. Look, I'll deal with that if we cross that bridge. I continued washing dishes, my hands moving automatically. The words genetic last resort echoed in my mind. Of course. I wasn't her first choice, probably not even her second or third. Our estrangement hadn't bothered her until she literally needed a piece of me to survive. When she returned, I was drying the last plate. Thank you for visiting, she said. It means a lot. I nodded, avoiding her eyes. I should get going. I'll let you know as soon as I hear about the test results. 3 days later, Dr. Patel called. I'm sorry, Sophie. You're not a compatible match. Your blood type is compatible, but your antigens don't align properly. Your sister's immune system would likely reject the kidney. I thanked her and hung up. I sat in my office, staring at the client proposal on my screen without seeing it. The relief was unexpected, not that I couldn't help, but that I wouldn't have to decide whether to help someone who clearly viewed me as a last resort. But then Dr. Patel called again the next day. Sophie, I want to double check something with you. Did you come in for a second round of testing yesterday? No, I said slowly. Why? We received another blood sample with your name on it. Different doctor ordered it. The results are interesting. This second sample shows you're actually an excellent match. Almost perfect, in fact. My heart began racing. That's impossible. You just told me I wasn't a match. I know. I'm looking at both results now. Either there was a lab error, which is extremely rare, or... She paused. Or something else is going on. I knew exactly what was going on. Someone had been testing people without their knowledge, comparing results to Maya's profile. Someone desperate enough to obtain blood samples or medical records illegally. I decided to play along. When Maya called that evening to check on my results, I told her the truth, that Dr. Patel had said I wasn't a match. Her disappointment was careful, controlled. Oh, she said. That's... Well, we knew it was a long shot. But I heard something else in her voice. Hope. Like she knew something I didn't. The next day, I received a call from a different doctor's office, one I'd never heard of. Ms. Turner? This is Dr. Rodriguez. I was reviewing some blood work and noticed you're a perfect match for one of our kidney transplant patients. Would you be interested in donation? Which patient? I asked innocently. I can't disclose that information, but, is it Maya Turner? Silence. Then, how did you? I'm sorry, I can't confirm or deny. Thank you for calling, I said and hung up. That evening, I drafted a letter to Maya. I spent hours writing and rewriting it, trying to find the right words. Finally, I settled on simplicity. Dear Maya, Dr. Patel confirmed I'm not a match. I'm sorry I can't help. I hope you find a donor soon. I'll keep you in my thoughts. Sophie. I mailed it the next morning. 3 days later, Maya's friend Lisa called me. I'd known Lisa in high school. She and Maya had been inseparable during our senior year. Sophie, I don't know if I should be calling, but Maya is. She's not doing well. She's been readmitted to the hospital. Fluid buildup. The doctors say she needs a transplant soon. I know, I said quietly. I'm not a match. I tried. She knows. But she also knows about other options. Lisa lowered her voice. Look, I shouldn't be telling you this, but Maya has been working with some people too. Expedite the process. There's supposed to be another way to test compatibility. More thorough. She asked me to contact you about it. What kind of people, Lisa? I don't know exactly. But they have connections. Can find matches through databases that aren't public. It costs money Maya doesn't have, but she thinks I have it, I finished. She's desperate, Sophie. This is her only option. That night, I made my decision. I called the private hospital where Maya had been admitted. I told them I wanted to visit. The nurse mentioned doctors.
I don't understand. I don't get it. What's her angle? I mean, I understand she's desperate. Yes, she is desperate, but she has to have an angle. I can't figure it out. I always try to predict what would happen, but sometimes I'm wrong. Other times I can easily identify what's going to happen, but I can't figure out what the angle is.
Sarah Chen had been asking about me, that she was coordinating Maya's care. Dr. Chen met me in the hospital corridor. She was young, ambitious looking, with designer glasses and expensive heels. Ms. Turner, thank you for coming. I believe you and your sister have been having difficulty with donor matching? That's what I've been told, I said carefully. I've been reviewing Maya's case. I think there might have been errors in the initial testing. I'd like to order another test, more comprehensive. Sometimes the standard tests miss subtle compatibilities. My blood
That's
was already tested thoroughly. She
I don't think that's true. That's not true, honestly. I mean, if you're trying to test if somebody's organs a direct match, you would obviously test the most accurate one. So I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Even if it's expensive, obviously you will still do it. You will still test the most accurate one. So I don't think that's 100% true. I might be wrong. I'm no Medicare person, so I don't know.
smiled. Our lab is more advanced. We often find matches where others don't. The test would be completely private, of course. Some of our clients prefer discretion.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
I pretended to consider. How much would this test cost? For the comprehensive workup? About $5,000. But if you are a match, we could move forward immediately. No waiting lists, no bureaucracy. I knew exactly what she was offering, a private organ brokerage system, probably operating in that gray area between legal and illegal. Maya must have been working with them for a while, funding their search for a donor. I'll think about it, I said. That evening, I visited Maya. She looked worse than before, her skin grayish, her breathing labored. When she saw me, her eyes widened. Sophie? I thought you went back to work. I did. I wanted to check on you. She studied my face. Lisa told you about the second test option, didn't she? I didn't deny it. Maya, why didn't you just tell me? Why all the secrecy? She shifted in her hospital bed, wincing. Would you have agreed to help if you'd known I'd already tested my ex-husband, his sister, 2 of Mom's cousins, and half a dozen other people before coming to you? I don't know, I answered honestly. But I deserve to know. We're not just strangers sharing DNA, Maya. We were sisters once. Her laugh was bitter. Where is the operative word? Look, I know I wasn't a good sister. I know I made choices that hurt you, that hurt our family. But I also know you're the only person left I can trust with this. Not because we're close, we both know we're not. But because you're the kind of person who keeps commitments. Even to your genetic last resort? She froze. How did you? I heard you on the phone. I know exactly what I am to you. I'm not family, I'm spare parts. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then, quietly, you're right. That's exactly what you are to me. Just like I'd be to you if our positions were reversed. We're not those little girls who shared secrets anymore.
I don't think that's not how she thinks. I don't think that's how she thinks. She doesn't sound like a type of person that will think like that. So, presuming somebody will think like that, even if you are twins, doesn't really necessarily mean, you know, they think the same. You're assuming somebody would think the same that you do, which is not true at all. People can think like you, but it'll take them time to. But they don't, most people don't think the same.
We're adults who happen to share DNA, and right now, I need what you have more than I need pretend emotions or forced reconciliation. Her brutal honesty was oddly freeing. You're dying, I said, not as a question. Very possibly, yes. I sat in silence, weighing everything. The sister I'd loved. The woman she'd become. The blood we shared. The years we'd lost. Finally, I stood up. I'll think about the second test. Thank you, she said, hope creeping into her voice. At the door, I turned back. Maya? If I do this, it's not because we're sisters. It's not because I forgive you, or because I want to rebuild our relationship. It's because watching someone die when you can prevent it is hard to live with. She nodded. I'll take it. Over the next week, I gathered information. I consulted with my own doctor, researched the private facility, even spoke to a medical ethics lawyer. The private clinic was technically legal but operated in ethical gray areas. They didn't sell organs, that would be illegal, but they facilitated expedited donor matching for wealthy clients. The more I learned, the more complex the situation became. Maya had indeed been working with them for months, using her savings to search for a match. When that ran out, she turned to Caleb's family, then some cousins. I was literally her last resort, the person she'd avoided for 15 years, contacted only when every other option was exhausted. Part of me wanted to walk away.
I really know I don't think they're ever gonna tell us why. Like why? I don't under. I really want to know why you walked away. I don't understand why you. I want to know. I don't think they're gonna tell us in this Reddit. I don't think she's gonna tell us why didn't want to talk to her. I still think it's jealousy.
Let her face the consequences of her choices, of the relationships she damaged. But another part, perhaps the accountant in me, saw it as a simple equation. I had 2 functioning kidneys. She needed one to live. Whether we liked each other was irrelevant to that basic math. I scheduled the second test. Dr. Chen's clinic was immaculate, expensive looking. The staff treated me like a VIP. They drew enough blood to run what they called next generation compatibility testing. The cost was exactly as quoted, $5,000, cash or credit card only. 3 days later, Dr. Chen called. Ms. Turner, I have excellent news. You're an exceptional match for your sister. Far better than our preliminary tests suggested. Your tissue types align in ways we rarely see, even in siblings. Better than the first test indicated? Oh, yes. Sometimes standard testing misses these finer compatibilities. Our advanced protocols are much more thorough. I knew what she was saying without saying it. They manipulated the second test, or possibly both tests, to show whatever results served their purpose. Whether I was actually a perfect match didn't matter as much as creating the narrative that would lead to a profitable transplant procedure. When I told Maya the news, her reaction confirmed my suspicions. She didn't seem surprised. When can we schedule the surgery? I haven't agreed to donate yet, I reminded her. You will, she said with certainty. You're too good a person not to. That night, I called David. We'd been separated for 6 months, working toward divorce. Our inability to have children had strained our marriage past breaking. He still cared, though. You're going to give her your kidney, aren't you? He said after I explained the situation. I think so. But I need to know I'm doing it for the right reasons. There are no right reasons when it comes to family, Sophie. There are just reasons you can live with. His words stayed with
That's
me as I made
so
my final
true. That is so
decision.
true.
I met with Maya one last time before agreeing to the procedure. We sat in her apartment, both of us sober with the weight of what we were about to do. I want you to understand something, I said. This doesn't change anything between us. I'm not doing this to heal our relationship or recapture our childhood. I'm doing it because you're dying, and I can prevent that. She nodded. I never expected anything else. And I want the truth about the tests. She smiled sadly. Dr. Chen told me the first test was definitive, you were a perfect match. But she also said that sometimes telling patients they're not a match first, then finding a match through special testing, makes them feel more invested in the process. Like they're saving a life against odds. I laughed despite myself. So I've been played by both you and your doctor. We're all playing each other, Sophie. You're getting to feel like a hero. I'm getting to live.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fucking right. Oh my god. She was gonna agree anyway. I mean, shit, this is fucking retarded. She would agreed to help you anyway if you just told her you were a match to begin with. No, this is not, you know, her playing her. It's the doctors playing both of them. Because it's not just her playing her, it's the doctor, that private doctor. Remember, she spent all her savings. The first twin spent all her savings in order to try to find a match. Now, the other twin spent the first, obviously, DNA test, and then the second one. The first one probably was cheaper. The second one cost 5,000. So in total, she probably spent around probably 10 to 75, somewhere around there. So I mean, I wouldn't really say you're playing anyone. The real winner would be the doctor, the stupid office, the private whatever office. That's the true winner in this story. They're the ones that actually made the most money. Of course, the one twin doesn't care, and the other twin, I don't know what her feelings are. But I don't think it's truly about being a hero. I think it's just doesn't she doesn't want to have a death on her conscience, even though she could help.
Dr. Chen's getting paid. Everyone wins. The surgery was scheduled for 3 weeks later. In that time,
Dr.
I
Chen
put
was
my
already
affairs in
getting
order.
paid. He was getting paid by you to begin with. I mean, he made out they made out like a bandit. Like holy shit! In total, they probably made around $40,000 off of the one person.
Updated my will, arranged medical leave, informed my clients. I also began seeing a therapist, Dr. Rebecca Walsh, who specialized in family dynamics and medical decisions. You're not obligated to do this, Dr. Walsh reminded me repeatedly. Biological relation doesn't create moral obligation. I know, I said. But I also know myself. If she dies and I could have prevented it, I'll carry that forever.
Yep.
Dr. Walsh helped me establish boundaries for after the surgery. Maya and I wouldn't suddenly become close sisters. We'd been strangers too long for that. But we could be adults who shared an experience, who treated each other with basic respect and courtesy. The day before surgery, Maya surprised me. I want to tell you something, she said as we sat in pre-op consultation. About that phone call you overheard. You don't have to. No, I do. I was talking to Caleb. He wanted to know if I'd finally swallowed my pride and asked you. I called you my genetic last resort because that's what he called you, trying to shame me for waiting so long to reach out. But he was right. I was too proud, too ashamed of how I'd treated you, to ask sooner. I processed this new information. And the diabetes thing? She winced. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 6 months ago. Another complication. When the kidney disease was diagnosed, they tested if the diabetes caused it. It hadn't, but I was worried you'd think I'd ruined my health through poor choices and didn't deserve your help. Everyone makes choices, Maya. Good and bad. It's not my place to judge whether you deserve to live based on them. The surgery was successful. I woke up sore but intact. Maya's new kidney began functioning immediately. For the first few days, we were in the same hospital wing. Occasionally, her friends would visit my room to thank me, tears in their eyes. I accepted their gratitude politely but without much emotion. I had medical care focused on my own recovery. 6 weeks later, at my final post-op appointment, Dr. Patel mentioned something interesting. Your surgical notes indicate your kidney function was exceptionally strong. Your remaining kidney should compensate perfectly for the donation. You're actually genetically predisposed to maintain excellent kidney function. Is that unusual? For donors, yes. Most maintain good function, but your markers suggest unusually robust kidney health. It's probably why the compatibility was so strong with your sister. You share whatever genetic factors contribute to kidney resilience. I thought about this on the drive home. Perhaps there had been no manipulation of test results. Perhaps I truly was an excellent match, and the doctors had simply wanted to maximize their involvement by making the process more dramatic. Or perhaps some combination of truth and manipulation had occurred. In the end, it didn't matter. Maya and I maintained contact after the surgery, brief texts checking on each other's health, an occasional coffee meetup to discuss follow-up appointments. We didn't pretend to be close, but we weren't enemies either. We existed in a new category, related strangers bound by a shared medical procedure.
They still never. Okay, yeah, they never told us why they're estranged. Okay, I'm just gonna wonder. You can only think. I'm still thinking it's jealousy. She said it was pride, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's mainly jealousy.
8 months after the transplant, David and I reconciled. The crisis had clarified something for both of us. Family isn't just about blood or DNA. It's about who shows up. I'd shown up for Maya despite our history. He'd shown up for me despite our separation. A year after the surgery, Maya called with news. I got married, she said. Small ceremony. Just wanted you to know. 2. His name is Peter. We met in a dialysis support group. He had a transplant 5 years ago. Understands the health struggles. Congratulations. Sophie? I want to say thank you. Not just for the kidney. 4. For not making me pretend this fixed everything between us. For letting it be what it was. You're welcome. After we hung up, I realized that sometimes the most meaningful gifts aren't the ones that heal relationships, but the ones that allow honest distance. I'd given Maya life without demanding she become my sister again. In return, she'd accepted my help without pretending we were something we weren't. 2 years later, I still have my annual kidney function tests. Always excellent results. Maya's doing well too, her body accepted the kidney without complications. We exchange Christmas cards now, brief handwritten notes with updates on our lives. No mentions of the past, just acknowledgement of the present. Sometimes I wonder what our lives would have been like if that teenage argument
Hey,
had never happened.
oh,
If my
hey, that's the same thing I thought of. Oh shit, I read your mind. I thought the same thing. I'm like, what would happen if they actually grew up like, actual twins?
I hadn't run away, if we'd maintained our connection. But those what ifs belonged to different people, the sisters we were, not the women we
Yeah.
became. I kept the hospital bracelet from my surgery, stored in my desk drawer at work. Occasionally, when working late on a difficult case, I'll come across it and remember that sometimes the most complicated family obligations have surprisingly simple solutions. You help because you can, not because you're expected to. You give because the alternative is watching someone die, not because doing so will change your relationship. In the end, I wasn't just Maya's genetic last resort. I was also my own first choice, choosing action over regret, pragmatism over emotion, and honest distance over forced connection. That clarity, perhaps, was worth more than any organ donation could provide.
So true. Honestly, oh shit, I pressed something. Nope. Stop it. Get down. What was it? This one. Yes.
My estranged
Oh
sister,
shit, I have to go all the way to the end. Yeah.
regret, pragmatism over emotion, and honest distance over forced connection. That clarity, perhaps, was worth more than any organ donation could provide.
So true. The only you can only basically live with your own decisions. So basically, if you're estranged or basically something like that, your family member wants, like, not wants but needs a donation, and you get tested and you're a match, and nobody else is. It's up to your conscience if you can live with that person dying, basically. That's all it comes down to. If you can live with that person dying, if you could have done something to prevent something from him actually or them dying. Either or. Depending on you. It depends on your person, it depends on your morality, depends on you. Honestly, that's all it comes down to. If you're willing to do it, then obviously you will do it. Personally, me, no, no, thank you. I am my morality is fine. It's not. I don't want anything my body to cut open. I am. I don't even want to give blood, honestly, because I don't like needles. But I will if it comes to it. Like a last case scenario, I have to give blood. Then maybe. But anything else in my body, that's a no, because I do not know. I'm not even gonna test if I'm compatible with anything, because that's no. I'm just not doing it. Nope. My estranged sister contacted me after 15 years to ask for my kidney. I agreed without hesitation. And that's by his Reddit story react. Have a good day, good night, good evening, and good afternoon.